Hello, we're here at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
We decided, since we were assigned the Mormon religion, that we would come see firsthand what followers of this religion actually thought.
We've come to get some answers that you wouldn't typically get from the internet or Google or whatever, and so we thought that coming straight to some members of the church, we would be able to get some more current and up-to-date answers.
The answers today are authentic and they are real, and you will just see kind of the inside of what it really is like to be a part of the Mormon church.
Enjoy.
That's a pretty common myth that we still practice, plural marriage, and of course that's ended a long time ago. So
it was really hard in high school because a lot of people get confused with being Mormon, and they're like, how many wives does your dad have? Or, that's the most popular question. It's like, my dad has one wife. We're not polygamists. And even though, you try to explain that to people, and they're like, well,
Right.
no, that's not what I was told.
We don't practice polygamy. I mean, we just have one wife.
It's
Pretty much we just correct him, but we don't
Was that something that used to happen that doesn't happen any longer?
Earlier in our church, when it first started, yeah, we did practice polygamy, but once the law, came out, no polygamy, totally abolished it, and there is another church that does practice it, so people kind of affiliate that church with ours, so kind of makes us look bad. But
oh gosh, there's all kinds of crazy myths. We don't sing, we don't dance, things like that, and that's couldn't be further from the truth. We like to have a good time and so forth. So I don't know what else. I think plural marriage is a big one.
well, it's kind of a crazy story. We tell people that Joseph Smith, as a 14-year-old boy, saw God the Father and Jesus Christ and was called as a prophet. And that's kind of, like, what the heck? It's hard to believe, right? Joseph Smith was definitely, we believe, that he was called as a prophet. He wanted to know which church was true. And, after praying and reading a lot, he knew that he needed to ask God which church was true. So he did, and he had this vision. And yeah, he was given these tablets, which was translated into the Book of Mormon, and he was commanded not to show anybody because, we live by faith, and only we have the testimony of the 12 witnesses who were able to see him so that they can bear testimony to other people, and pretty much we have to, pray in order to receive that answer, to know if Joseph Smith truly was called of God, and if he was a true prophet. So, it is a lot to take in, and it takes, just like Joseph did, he prayed to know.
The Book of Mormon starts out in Jerusalem, actually, 600 BC. And then the very first story is just how God told one of his prophets that he needs to come to America. And so that's where it starts. And then from there on, it's just the same thing, prophets testifying Jesus Christ. And then what happens after he dies, and some things after that.
So does the Book of Mormon or the Bible, does one have more authority than the other, or are they more equal?
We say that they go hand in hand. They testify of each other. It's just a second witness. That's what we try and teach people.
I think probably a common criticism is our difference in the Trinity. Okay, doctrinally, that's kind of a criticism that other religions have. We differ in our belief. We believe in the Godhead, but that they are three separate, distinct beings as opposed to one being. So that's kind of a common criticism that we come across. That's a real distinct doctrine that we have as Latter-day Saints, is that there are, as opposed to just one heaven and one hell, that there are different degrees of glory that a person can attain to. And the term we give for it is telestial, terrestrial, and celestial. And
how would you, is it possible to move up in those levels of glory? And how would one do that if that is possible?
What we believe is that first off, it's being able to attain any degree of glory is because of the atonement of Christ, being able to be forgiven of our sins and be resurrected and attain any degree of glory is because of the atonement. Beyond that It's what level of glory a person attains is based on the life that they've lived.
So you are saved by Christ's atonement, but at what level is determined by the deeds done on earth? Is that kind of another way to say it?
That's kind of a sum up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, none of it's possible were it not for the atonement.
Okay.
So.
We believe bluntly that we are the only true and living church upon the face of the earth, and that this is God's kingdom once again restored through Jesus Christ. You know, this is the church that Christ set up in the New Testament. You know, he called apostles, and Christ was the prophet of that church. And once, you know, he was crucified, people killed his apostles, and that organization and that fullness that he had was lost. And so after Joseph Smith prayed and, you know, saw God the Father and Jesus Christ, they called him as a prophet, and he gave him all the knowledge and the keys to fully restore that church. So yeah, we definitely believe that this is his church and the only true church.
I think that if I didn't have this, you know, if I wasn't part of this religion, that I would just be totally lost in the world. I think that I would probably be, I'm gonna cry, oh no. I think that, that I just would be a totally different person, you know, so, sorry guys.
And for me as an adult member, I would say that they're some of the happiest people on the earth. Okay, we believe we have the fullness of the gospel. The gospel of Jesus Christ is what leads towards happiness. It's the plan of happiness. We believe that we have the fullness of that restored in this day and age, and so it just makes sense that we are some of the happiest people upon the earth, and that's been my experience.